Your first million is not hard. It is not far. It is waiting for your word. Speak, and the universe obeys. Stay silent, and you keep yourself outside the gate. The code I will place in your hand today opens the vault of riches that already belong to you. In this message, I will give you the exact command that opens the door to your first $1 million. If you have worked and struggled without seeing results, if you have prayed and begged without receiving, you will learn today why your words have been weak and how to make them almighty. By the close of this lesson, you will hold the key to riches beyond measure, and you will know how to use it without fear or struggle. I know what it feels like to chase money, to labor and strive, only to see your hands still empty. You ask yourself, why does wealth stay far from me? And the truth is this: most people speak against themselves without knowing it. They declare lack in every conversation. They curse their own harvest with idle words, and then wonder why riches do not appear. But spirit is not deaf. Spirit is waiting for the command. And when you learn to speak with authority, when you stop begging and start decreeing, you will see how swiftly money answers. Today, I will show you the effortless way, the way of the spoken word, that makes riches rush to you. Here's what we will uncover together. First, I will show you why ordinary speech keeps wealth away, and how to break the habit of idle words that sabotage your fortune. Then, I will give you the command that summons $1 million and more, the decree that forces the universe to deliver. Next, I will show you real demonstrations cases where men and women stepped from lack to abundance almost overnight by speaking the word. Finally, I will show you how to live in the rhythm of command, so that wealth becomes not a single event, but a constant stream. Stay with me, for one sentence spoken in faith can turn your poverty into plenty, your waiting into receiving, your struggle into dominion. And by the end, you will be ready to speak your million into being. Here's something most people completely miss, and it is the very reason their fortune never takes root. They think wealth is built by labor, by long hours, by chance, by a stroke of luck. They strain, they struggle, they grasp at opportunities, and yet their hands stay empty. Why? Because wealth is not built with hands, it is built with words. Every word you speak is a seed, and every seed falls into the soil of your subconscious, where it grows without fail. If you speak lack, you reap lack. If you speak abundance, you reap abundance. The tongue is not a plaything, it is the instrument of creation. Let me put it this way: your mouth is the gate to your million. Whatever passes through it is written into your destiny. People laugh at this and say, "Oh, Florence, I was only joking, I didn't mean it." But the subconscious does not laugh. The subconscious does not argue. The subconscious does not know humor. It takes every word you speak as law and goes to work producing it. That is why so many live in bondage and never know why they curse themselves with their own idle words. I once knew a woman who often said, half joking and half complaining, "I'm so tired of this house. One day I'll be living out of a trunk." She said it over and over, never thinking her words mattered. But what happened? The years passed, circumstances shifted, and her fortune dwindled. At last she lost her home, and she ended up exactly where she had declared living in a trunk. Do you see how literal the law is? Do you see how exact? The very picture she painted with her tongue became the reality of her life. Words are not air, they are substance. They create, they bind, they release, they bring ruin, or they bring riches. So let me ask you, what have you been planting? Do you rise in the morning and sigh, "I'm broke"? Do you walk through the day saying, "Nothing ever works out for me"? Do you tell friends, "Money slips through my fingers"? Or, "I never get a lucky break"? If you do, don't wonder why your million stays far. You've been planting weeds in your garden, and weeds cannot produce golden harvests. You cannot speak poverty and reap plenty. You cannot speak struggle and reap ease. You cannot speak fear and reap faith. Now, here's the counterintuitive truth that changed everything for me. One decree of faith is stronger than 1,000 idle words. You can smash the old harvest, overturn the weeds, and plant afresh by speaking deliberately and with authority. If you will train your tongue to speak only truth, only abundance, only health, only joy, you will set your subconscious to work as a faithful servant, drawing the conditions of your words into form. This is why I say, wealth begins with the word. Not with labor, not with saving, not with chance, with the word. Think of it like a great architect. He does not begin building by laying bricks at random. He begins with a blueprint, a picture drawn in detail. Your word is the blueprint. When you speak, you sketch the design of your future. Speak lack, and you draft a prison. Speak abundance, and you draft a palace. The builders, your subconscious, and the law of spirit cannot alter the blueprint. They build exactly what you give them. So guard your words, plant carefully. Command wealth with the same certainty an architect commands stone. And your million will begin to take shape, not by accident, but by law. What I am about to share might seem strange at first, but it is the very hinge on which your fortune swings. Most people spend their lives asking for money, asking for help, asking for blessings, asking for relief. Their prayers are long lists of needs. Their conversations are filled with wishes and pleas. But asking is the language of lack. Asking says, I do not yet have. Asking places your good far in the distance, always out of reach, always someday. And the subconscious, hearing the tone of begging, accepts lack as your reality and gives you more of it. But command is another world entirely. Command is the language of possession. Command does not say, I hope. Command says, it is so. Command speaks as though the thing were already accomplished, already delivered, already standing in your hands. That is why asking delays, but commanding delivers. The scriptures do not say, ask timidly. They say, concerning the works of my hands, command ye me. Think of that spirit itself, infinite intelligence, inviting you to speak as one with authority. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. To command is to agree with what already exists in the invisible, to declare it into form, to say, let there be, and watch as it appears. When I command, I am not telling God what to do. I am standing in the finished work of God and giving the decree that opens the door. Asking says, will you please open it? Command says, the door is mine, and I walk through. Let me give you an example. One Easter, I had a vivid vision of a rose tree being carried into my home. I saw it, clear and real, and I spoke it as though it already belonged to me. Later that day, a friend sent me flowers for Easter. She had ordered lilies, but the florist, by mistake, sent a rose tree. Was it chance? No, it was command. My word had gone out, and the law obeyed, arranging even the so-called mistake of a florist to deliver exactly what I decreed. If I had asked wistfully, oh, it would be lovely to have a rose tree one day, nothing would have moved. Asking leaves things in the future. Command calls them into the present. Now let me ask you, how many times have you begged for money, begged for opportunity, begged for luck, only to find yourself empty-handed? And how many times have you dared to declare, this is mine now, by divine right, and watched the law move swiftly? The difference is not luck. The difference is not chance. The difference is the tone of your tongue. One speaks from weakness, the other from authority. One affirms absence, the other affirms presence. I tell you, you must drop forever the language of begging. Drop forever the habit of pleading. You are not a beggar at heaven's gate. You are a child of the infinite, heir to the kingdom, and the kingdom is voice-activated. Your fortune is waiting, not for your tears, not for your pleas, but for your command. And when you speak with the voice of faith, the universe cannot resist you. It must obey. For the law is exact, and the word is law. So hear me now, your $1 million will not come by asking. It will not come by long, desperate prayers. It will not come by pleading with strangers or hoping someone will rescue you. It will come when you speak with boldness, when you declare with certainty, when you stand in your authority and say, this wealth is mine now. It comes to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. That is the turning point. That is the shift from lack to abundance, from waiting to receiving, from wishing to commanding. And once you cross it, your fortune is no longer a dream, it is a decree. This next part may shake the very belief you have carried about time, about waiting, about how long things must take. The world has taught you that everything moves slowly, that riches are gathered by toil upon toil, that years must pass before great wealth can be attained. But spirit has no clock. The infinite does not measure by minutes or months. The law of supply does not tick by the calendar. Time is only a picture held in the human mind, a chain forged by fear, a belief in distance between desire and fulfillment. But the truth I must tell you is this. What you decree in fearless faith can appear at once, sometimes within 24 hours. Not because it is being created in that moment, but because it already exists in the invisible, waiting for your command to bring it forth. Fear is the drag on the wheel. Fear is the only thing that slows the flow. Fear whispers, "It will take too long, it is too late, it cannot happen quickly," and the subconscious obeys that fear, arranging delay, weaving obstacle, stretching time like a rope across your path. But faith is acceleration. Faith is the swift current that carries your decree from the invisible to the visible without obstruction. The moment you speak with unshaken certainty, you collapse the distance, you erase the illusion of delay, you draw the future into the present. I remember the woman who came to me with only $8 left in her purse. She was frightened, weary, and thought her life was at its end. But she had a hunch, a nudge to return to her hometown, though she did not understand why. I told her, "Never violate a hunch. That is the voice of spirit opening a door. Speak your decree and obey the lead." She did. She affirmed, "Infinite Spirit, open the way for great abundance. I am an irresistible magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right." She repeated it faithfully as she traveled home. And what happened? She was led into connection with a family friend, and through that channel came thousands of dollars, enough to lift her from despair to plenty. Did it take years? No. Did it take months? No. The supply appeared swiftly because she dared to believe in the quickness of spirit and acted in line with her decree. So, let me ask you, what do you believe about time? Do you secretly think, "Yes, one day I'll be rich, but not now"? Do you say, "It will take years before I reach my million"? Then you are planting delay into your harvest, and delay is what you shall reap. But if you dare to say, "My million moves to me now," large sums of money come quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Nothing can delay what is already mine. You cut the rope of time, you smash the clock of fear, you stand in the eternal now, where supply rushes in like a flood. Understand this clearly. The 24 hours is not about spirit taking time to act. It is about you holding faith long enough, steady enough, without wavering, until the invisible has no choice but to crystallize into form. Spirit is immediate. Spirit is instant. The only wait is the wobble of your faith, the in and out of your words. The moment you steady yourself, the moment you refuse to cancel your decree with doubt, the good arrives with breathtaking speed. So never again say, "It takes too long." Never again say, "I must wait." Say instead, "My good is prepared now, my million is ready now. My supply is rushing to me now, under grace, in perfect ways." And then watch with expectancy, for the law has no delay, and the riches you command will appear faster than your reasoning mind can explain. Here is something most people will never see until it is too late, and it is the hidden reason their good is blocked and their fortune never blooms. It is not that spirit refuses them. It is not that heaven is closed against them. It is not that luck has passed them by. It is that their own tongues betray them with idle words. The tongue is a wand of creation, yet people wave it carelessly, scattering curses when they mean to bless, planting weeds when they long for roses. They chatter thoughtlessly, they joke about lack, they sigh about trouble, they speak sickness and failure into their own garden, never knowing that every syllable is a seed and every seed will bear fruit. The subconscious is exact. It has no sense of humor, no filter, no power to sift between what you mean and what you do not mean. It records and obeys every word. That is why idle speech is deadly. It is creative power misused. You say in jest, "I'm broke again," and the subconscious writes it down. You moan, "I'm sick and tired," and the subconscious writes it down. You mutter, "Nothing ever works out for me," and the subconscious writes it down. Then, like a faithful servant, it builds those words into your life, brick by brick, until you look around and wonder why your world is a prison instead of a palace. But it was your own tongue that drew the blueprint, your own words that built the walls. I knew a woman of wealth who often joked, "Well, I suppose I'd better get ready for the poorhouse." She laughed when she said it, but she said it often. The subconscious did not laugh, it obeyed. And before long, her fortune collapsed, her comforts vanished, and she lived in fear of the very condition she had always declared. She had called it with her words, and her words could not return void. Do you see how dangerous it is to play with the tongue? Do you see why I say idle words are more deadly than any weapon? For they shape the life you live without your even knowing it? So let me ask you, what are you saying when you are not thinking? What do you mutter when you wake up tired? What do you complain about when you meet a friend? What do you joke about when you're nervous? Those are the words that shape your world. Those are the words that either keep you in poverty or lead you into wealth. You cannot speak defeat and reap victory. You cannot speak sickness and reap health. You cannot speak poverty and reap millions. The law does not bend. The law does not excuse. The law gives you exactly what you decree, whether you meant it or not. This is why you must learn to guard your mouth as you would guard a vault of treasure. Speak nothing you do not wish to multiply. Say nothing you do not want returned to you. If you cannot yet command boldly, then at least be silent, for silence is better than sowing weeds, better to say nothing than to curse yourself, better to hold the tongue than to set loose a flood of destructive decrees. I tell you plainly, your million is closer than you think, but your tongue may be keeping it locked away. Idle words are the thieves at the gate. Until you dismiss them, until you train your speech, you will always wonder why your good does not appear. But the moment you stop joking about lack, stop complaining about struggle, stop speaking against yourself, the channel opens, the harvest grows, and the riches you long for begin to move into form. For life and death are in the power of the tongue, and the tongue does not rest. It is always planting, always shaping, always creating. So choose now to speak only words that bless, words that command, words that call forth abundance, and your million will have no choice but to obey. What I am about to reveal may shock you, but it will also set you free. Every word you have ever spoken, every thought you have ever dwelt upon, every picture you have ever held in your mind has left its mark upon your subconscious. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been forgotten. Every idle word, every fearful statement, every sigh of defeat has been etched into the inner record of your being. And like a phonograph plate, the subconscious plays these records back into your life, over and over, until you begin to think that fate is against you, that life has chosen you for struggle, that poverty or sickness or disappointment are somehow your lot. But here is the mercy of the law. The same spoken word that created the old records can smash them to pieces. The decree of truth is stronger than the decree of fear. The command of faith is stronger than the command of doubt. You are not doomed to live forever in the harvest of yesterday's words. You can demolish them and start again. I tell my students to speak boldly. I now smash and demolish every untrue record in my subconscious mind. They shall return to the dust heap of their native nothingness, for they came from my own vain imaginings. I now make my perfect records through the Christ within the records of health, wealth, love, and perfect self-expression. Say it with power, not like a question, but like a verdict. Each time you speak it, you are breaking the chains of the past, erasing the grooves of old songs that kept you bound, and opening space for a new melody of abundance to be written upon your heart. I have seen this work too many times to doubt it. A woman came to me after years of speaking poverty. Every sentence she spoke was filled with, "I can't afford it, and I'll never get ahead." Her life was a living echo of those words. Debts piled high, opportunities vanished, and despair clung to her like a shadow. I taught her the affirmation of smashing old records, and I told her to speak it whenever fear rose, whenever she was tempted to complain. She obeyed. Slowly, the old songs of lack grew silent, and new records of abundance began to play. In a matter of months, her finances turned. Unexpected checks arrived, new work opened, and she stood free from the chains she had forged with her own tongue. It was not chance, it was not luck. It was the power of the spoken word, breaking the old and creating the new. Do you understand the freedom in this? You are not bound forever by what you once said. You are not doomed by the careless jokes you made, the fearful statements you repeated, the worries you rehearsed day after day. Yes, they left records, and yes, they played out in your life, but the eraser is in your hand now. You can smash them. You can declare their nothingness. You can start a new record filled with the sound of wealth, health, joy, and love. Think of it like a great symphony hall. For years, the orchestra has played only one tune, a dirge of fear, a march of lack, a lament of disappointment. The notes are carved into the sheets, and the musicians follow them without thought. But suddenly, the conductor rips those sheets in half, throws them aside, and places new music before them, a song of triumph, a melody of wealth, a chorus of joy. The musicians play what they are given. Your subconscious is the orchestra, and your word is the conductor. If you give it new music, it will play a new song. So here is my challenge to you. Each day, declare the smashing of old records. Speak the decree until you feel its vibration in your bones. Refuse to let the past hold power over you. Then immediately record the new. I am rich. I am healthy. I am loved. I am free. Say it not once, not timidly, but daily, boldly, rhythmically, until the subconscious has no choice but to obey. And soon you will find your life humming with a new melody, a melody of abundance that never falters, because you smashed the old record and gave it no place to play. Here's something most people overlook, and yet it is the very practice that determines whether all their decrees will bear fruit or be choked before they can grow. It is the discipline of guarding the gate of the tongue. You can speak affirmations in the morning, you can declare abundance with boldness, you can smash old records with power, but if during the day you let your tongue run loose with complaint, with gossip, with fear, with idle chatter, you undo your own work. The subconscious is like a gatekeeper who takes down every word without judgment and without pause. If you do not set a watch at that gate, if you do not guard what comes out of your mouth, then thieves enter, thieves of doubt, thieves of lack, thieves of despair, and they rob you of the very harvest you planted. The scriptures tell us plainly, "Set a watch, O Lord, before my mouth, keep the door of my lips." That is no idle verse, it is a law of protection. Imagine your words as checks drawn on the bank of your life. Every time you speak, you are handing a check through the cashier's window. If you hand out a check marked poverty, it will be cashed. If you hand out a check marked failure, it will be honored. If you hand out a check marked fear, it will return to you with interest. But if you hand out checks of wealth, checks of faith, checks of health, checks of joy, your account grows richer every day. What you circulate in words is what returns to you in form. That is why you must guard your tongue more carefully than a miser guards his gold. I once counseled a man who came home every evening and poured out to his family a flood of negative words. He rehearsed every slight from the office, every fear about money, every trouble that crossed his path. He thought he was merely unburdening himself, but in truth he was planting his home with weeds, choking every flower of good. His children absorbed his words, his wife echoed his fears, and the whole household lived in an atmosphere of defeat. I told him, "If you wish your fortune to turn, silence your tongue. Speak no more of trouble. Guard your lips as you would guard a door at night against robbers." He obeyed. He stopped rehearsing his woes, he stopped planting fear, he began to speak only of blessings and possibilities. Within a short time, the atmosphere of his home was transformed, opportunities opened, and prosperity began to flow. His wealth was not withheld, it had been blocked by his own words. So I ask you, how many times each day do you let a thief slip past your lips? How often do you murmur about what you lack, joke about what you fear, or repeat tales of trouble to others? Each word is a seed, each word is a check, each word is a decree. You cannot afford to let one slip by that does not serve you. And if you do, if some careless phrase escapes, cancel it immediately. Say, "That is not true." I erase it. I replace it with the word of faith. In this way, you guard the gate and keep the channel clear. You must become your own watchman. Picture yourself standing at the door of your lips, examining every sentence before it passes. Ask, does this bless me? Does this build me? Does this multiply my good? If it does, let it through. If it does not, strike it down. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until your tongue is trained to speak only truth, only abundance, only joy. Then your word becomes steady, your decrees carry weight, and your million cannot be withheld, for there is no contradiction to block it. So let this be your daily vow. I set a watch before my mouth. I guard the gate of my tongue. I speak only words that bless, only words that prosper, only words that command my good. My lips are the doorway to abundance, and I will not let thieves pass through. Say it, live it, and watch as your life is secured, your harvest is safe, and your fortune flows without obstruction. This next part changed everything for me, and it will change everything for you if you take it to heart. It is not enough to smash old records once. It is not enough to guard the tongue only in moments of strength. You must build a rhythm, a habit, a daily practice that continually resets your speech, that continually writes new records upon the subconscious, until it becomes impossible for you to speak against yourself, until every word that passes your lips is a decree of life and not of death, of wealth and not of poverty, of joy and not of despair. This is the practice of resetting daily speech. Think of it like training a garden. You do not plant once and then abandon it. You water it daily, you tend it daily, you pull the weeds as soon as they appear, you plant new seeds again and again until the soil is rich and the harvest steady. Your tongue is that garden, your subconscious is that soil. You must cultivate it daily with words of faith, with affirmations spoken morning and night, with decrees uttered in rhythm until they sink deep and play back automatically. When you rise in the morning, your subconscious is fresh, receptive, waiting for instruction. That is the moment to plant the seeds of wealth. Stand and declare with authority. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. This is my day of abundance. This is my day of miracles. This is my day of wealth. Speak it not timidly, but boldly, not like a wish, but like a command. The subconscious hears and obeys. Then, go through your day watchful, and whenever fear or doubt tries to creep in, reset at once. Cancel the idle word. Replace it with truth. Reset again and again until your tongue no longer slips. And before you close your eyes at night, reset once more. Do not carry the day's fears into your sleep. Do not let your last words be complaint or worry. Seal the day with thanksgiving. I give thanks for the abundance I have received. I give thanks that more rushes to me tomorrow. I sleep in peace, I wake in wealth. Fall asleep with those words upon your lips, and the subconscious will play them all night, weaving them into your dreams, pressing them deeper into your being. In this way, you set a rhythm of abundance that never stops. Let me give you an example. A woman once told me she had only $2 left. Her purse felt like a symbol of emptiness, a reminder of lack. I told her, bless that purse. See it as a magic purse that can never be emptied. Declare that each time money goes out, more rushes in. Visualize it crammed, jammed, bulging with bills and gold and silver. She obeyed. Each morning and night she reset her speech, blessing her purse instead of cursing it, calling it full instead of empty. Soon after, she received $6,000 in the most unexpected way. Her purse had obeyed her words. Her subconscious had obeyed her decree. She had reset her daily speech, and the harvest was swift. Now let me ask you, what do you say when you first wake up? Do you sigh, another hard day? Do you mutter, I'm already tired? Do you grumble, nothing ever changes? If so, that is the crop you are planting, and it is no wonder the harvest is bitter. But if you will reset, if you will take the first and last moments of the day to speak wealth, to speak joy, to speak victory, then your harvest will change, and your million will begin to take shape before your eyes. So let this be your practice from this day forth. Reset your speech daily, morning decree, daily guard, evening thanksgiving. Never let a day pass without planting, without tending, without sealing your words with gratitude. Do this, and soon your speech will no longer need resetting, for it will already be set to abundance. Then every word you speak will carry power, every sentence will be a command, and your life will sing with the rhythm of wealth. Now we come to the heart of this entire message, the very decree that opens the door to wealth, the code that forces the universe to deliver what already belongs to you. I have told you that words are seeds, that idle speech destroys, that daily reset builds rhythm, but all of that has been preparing you for this moment. For here is the instant money command, the key that has unlocked fortunes for many who dared to speak it. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Speak it aloud now, not as though you were testing it, not as though you were repeating a phrase you hope might work, but as though you were declaring a law that cannot be broken, a fact that cannot be denied, a verdict that has already been written. Why does this command work? Because it speaks the truth of spirit. God is, in fact, your unfailing supply. Your job is not your supply. Your investments are not your supply. Your family is not your supply. They are channels. But the source is God, and that source can never be depleted. When you declare that large sums of money come to you quickly, you are not inventing greed, you are affirming abundance. Money is only a symbol of energy, and spirit holds infinite energy. When you say, under grace, in perfect ways, you are protecting yourself from harm, ensuring that your wealth flows in alignment with divine order, that it comes clean, pure, and perfect, harming none and blessing all. You are not taking from another, you are receiving what is already yours by divine right. I recall a woman who came to me in despair. She had only $2 left, and fear clutched her heart. I told her, bless those $2. See them as a seed of abundance. Speak the command. Declare that your purse is crammed, jammed, bulging with bills and gold and silver. Say that money rushes to you under grace, in perfect ways. She did not hesitate. She gave one of those dollars as a gift, proving her faith, and she repeated the command daily. Not long after, she received $6,000 from an unexpected source. She had not begged, she had not labored, she had not schemed. She had commanded, and the law obeyed. That is the power of this decree. But beware, this command cannot be spoken with a divided heart. If you speak it in the morning and complain of lack by afternoon, you cancel your own harvest. If you decree it with your lips but deny it with your thoughts, you weaken the vibration. The command works when it is steady, when it is spoken in rhythm, when it is held in faith. Speak it until it becomes natural, until it rolls from your tongue with the same ease as your own name, until your very being vibrates with it. Then watch as doors swing open, as channels appear, as money flows from places you never imagined. Think of the command as a magnet. When you speak it, you charge yourself with magnetic power. Every opportunity, every channel, every gift begins to move toward you, drawn by the vibration of your word. The stronger your faith, the stronger the pull. The clearer your decree, the faster the flow. Speak it faintly, and the magnet is weak. Speak it boldly, and the magnet draws riches at lightning speed. So I say to you now, take this command into your mouth, into your heart, into your life. Say it in the morning when you rise. Say it through the day when fear tries to whisper. Say it at night before you sleep. Say it until it becomes your second nature. And as surely as day follows night, you will see your million begin to take form, for the law cannot fail and the word cannot return void. This next part may seem simple, even foolish to the reasoning mind, but it is the mark of true faith, and the very thing that separates those who only repeat affirmations with their lips from those who actually see their decrees take shape before their eyes. I am speaking of the law of preparation. Once you have spoken the command, once you have declared, God is my unfailing supply, large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. You must prove your faith by acting as though your million were already on the way. If you continue to live as though nothing has changed, if you continue to prepare only for lack, you are contradicting your own word. Spirit moves where faith is proved, and faith is always proved by preparation. Think of the story of Elisha, who told the people to make the valley full of ditches. There was no rain, no cloud, no sign of water. Yet they dug, they labored, they made ready for what had been promised. And the next morning, the valley was filled. If they had refused to prepare, if they had laughed at the idea of digging dry ground, the rain would have fallen, but the blessing would have been wasted. Preparation created the channel for supply. The same law holds true for you. If you are speaking for your million, you must prepare for your million. I once counseled a man who longed to travel abroad, but had no money, no prospects, no visible way. He began to decree his divinely designed trip, divinely financed, under grace. I told him, do not stop at words, prepare, act as though you were already going. So he went out and bought a trunk, a bright trunk with a red band around it. He had no tickets, no money, no plan, but he had a trunk. Every time he saw it, he felt the vibration of his trip. That trunk was his proof of faith. Not long after, the money appeared, the door opened, and the trip was made. His preparation pulled the invisible into the visible. The same is true for wealth. If you are decreeing for 1,000,000, you must prepare for 1,000,000. Open the bank account if you do not have one. Clear space in your home for the new abundance. Begin to manage money as though large sums were already moving through your hands. Do not treat your finances like a desert if you are calling for rain. Lay out the ditches, place the vessel, show by your action that you expect what you have commanded. I knew a woman who longed for her own home. She decreed faithfully, yet nothing moved. I told her, begin to prepare. Buy the furnishings, the linens, the dishes for the home you do not yet see. Do not ask where you will put them. Do not ask how it will come. Act as though the home were already yours. She obeyed, and soon after, the perfect apartment appeared, ready to receive the things she had prepared. Her preparation had been the magnet, proving her faith, pulling her decree into form. So I ask you now, are you preparing for your million? or are you preparing for lack? Do you hoard, saying, I must save for a rainy day? If so, you are preparing for rain, and rain you shall have. Or do you circulate, saying, I prepare for abundance, for joy, for wealth? What you prepare for is what arrives. The law of preparation is exact. Therefore, do not speak your command and then sit idle. Act in faith, move in rhythm. Show that you believe by preparing. Lay out the ditches. Buy the trunk. Set the table. Bless the purse. And the million you have spoken will rush to meet you, for spirit always fills the space that faith has made ready. Here is a truth that may sound impossible to the reasoning mind, but is the most natural thing in the world to spirit. What you decree with unwavering faith can be drawn into form within 24 hours. Not because heaven is suddenly persuaded, not because God decides to move only after you have spoken, but because your decree has collapsed the illusion of time and pulled what already exists in the invisible into the visible. The spirit is instant. The supply is already finished. The only thing that ever causes delay is the fear, the doubt, the double-mindedness that weakens the vibration of your word. But the moment you hold steady without wavering, without canceling, without retreating, the law moves, and sometimes the result comes as swiftly as the very next day. I recall the story of a woman who was facing a lawsuit for $3,000. She was filled with terror, convinced she would lose everything. I told her, stop describing the problem. Stop rehearsing the defeat. Begin to decree. I give thanks that the situation is now adjusted in divine order. My supply cannot be lost. What is mine by divine right is now released to me. She obeyed, even though appearances screamed otherwise. She held fast to the decree. She gave thanks in advance. She refused to let fear speak louder than her word. And what happened? A relative she had not heard from in years sent her the exact amount she needed, arriving at the very hour the payment was due. That is not coincidence. That is not chance. That is the 24-hour principle in action. The decree was spoken, faith was steady, gratitude was constant, and the law obeyed with exact timing. Why 24 hours? Because that is often the window in which the human mind can hold steady without wavering. Hold a decree for weeks, and the reasoning mind grows restless, doubtful, and begins to cancel it with idle words. But hold a decree for one day with unwavering faith, and the subconscious is impressed deeply, the vibration is strong, and the channels swing open. The 24 hours is not about spirit needing time. It is about you holding faith long enough to let the invisible crystallize into the visible. So let me ask you, how many times have you spoken a word of faith in the morning, only to cancel it with fear in the evening? How many times have you decreed abundance, and then whispered lack before the day was done? That is why you wait for years, because you plant and uproot, never letting the seed take root long enough to sprout. But when you decree and hold fast for 24 hours, refusing to contradict yourself, refusing to let fear speak, refusing to let appearances sway you, the harvest bursts forth quickly, because the soil has been left undisturbed long enough for the seed to grow. The 24-hour principle demands this. Speak your command boldly, expect your good without delay, give thanks as though it were already here, and act as though it were already so. Gratitude speeds the vibration, action proves the faith, expectation magnetizes the supply. If you will do this for one day, just one day, you will see the proof of the law. You will see channels open you never imagined, opportunities appear out of nowhere, money arrive from unexpected hands. The universe is not slow, it is waiting for you to hold steady. Therefore, practice this. Choose one need, one desire, one decree, and speak it with authority. Then hold it for 24 hours. Do not waver, do not cancel. Do not let a single idle word slip. Expect, give thanks, act, and watch. At the end of the day, you will see the law in action, and once you see it, you will never doubt again that the command works. For the command is law, and the law cannot fail. Now I must open your eyes wider. For the command is not confined to money alone, nor is the law limited to filling your purse or multiplying your bank account. Money is only one form of supply, one symbol of abundance, but spirit is infinite, and the same decree that calls forth dollars can just as easily call forth health, harmony, love, right work, perfect self-expression, and every other form of good. To limit the law to money is to shut yourself into a narrow chamber when the palace of life stands wide open before you. The spoken word is not a coin trick. It is the key to the kingdom, and that kingdom includes all things. I have given to many the decree. I have a perfect work in a perfect way. I give perfect service for perfect pay. And I have seen men and women step out of drudgery and into joy, out of unemployment and into opportunity, out of dull routine and into work that expressed the very gift of their soul. One young woman repeated this affirmation daily. She had been overlooked, dismissed, and rejected in her old job. But as she spoke the decree, a door opened into work that was more suited to her talents, more joyful to her spirit, and more abundant in pay. She did not beg for a chance, she did not plead for an opening, she commanded her right place, and the law obeyed. The same law holds true for health. I recall a woman afflicted with a skin disease that no doctor could cure. She had tried ointments, treatments, prayers of pleading, and nothing changed. When she came to me, I told her, "Stop rehearsing the sickness. Stop telling the story of your pain. Begin to decree. Divine love floods my consciousness with health. Every cell of my body responds to the healing word. I am whole, perfect, strong, and free." She obeyed. As she continued, bitterness she had long held toward another dissolved in her heart, and with it the disease melted away. She was healed not by medicine, not by chance, but by the command spoken in faith, the command that aligned her body with the truth of wholeness. And love, yes, even love responds to command. Many come begging for a particular person, pleading that this one or that one will love them, but I tell them, do not decree for what is not yours. Do not bind yourself to what may not belong to you. Speak instead. I am now linked with my right mate by divine selection. What is mine cannot be withheld. What is not mine cannot satisfy. And when they release their clinging and speak the command of truth, the right one always appears. One woman prayed and begged for a man who never turned his heart to her, but when she changed her decree, the true companion entered her life, and the harmony, joy, and love she experienced were greater than anything she could have forced. The law does not bring you scraps. It brings you the feast that has been prepared for you all along. Do you see? The command is not about money only. It is the law of life. Speak abundance, and abundance flows. Speak health, and health blossoms. Speak love, and love surrounds you. Speak right work, and your place appears. The law does not fail, for it is written into the very fabric of the universe. The only question is whether you will dare to use it beyond the narrow circle of dollars. Why ask for one coin when the treasure house is open? Why speak for one room when the palace is yours? So I charge you, do not limit your command. Do not say, this works only for money. Say instead, this law works for every good thing. For spirit is infinite and knows no lack. Then begin to decree for every area of your life. Say, divine order governs my life. Divine supply fills every channel. Divine love heals every wound. Divine wisdom guides every step. Divine joy fills every day. Speak it until your life is flooded with the fullness of good, until you are rich not only in money, but in health, love, purpose, and peace. For $1 million without health is misery. $1 million without love is loneliness. $1 million without purpose is emptiness. But when you command in every area, when you use the word to claim the whole kingdom, then you are truly rich, and your million is only one part of a life overflowing with abundance. Now we must go even deeper, for it is not enough to call forth one blessing, to speak one command, to see one demonstration, and then rest satisfied. The law is infinite, and once you begin to use it, you will discover that every decree builds momentum, every command strengthens the current, every answered word prepares the way for greater answers still. It is like a river swelling after each rain, each drop adding to its force, until what began as a trickle becomes a mighty flood that no obstacle can resist. Your million is not the end, it is the beginning. One decree leads to another, and each one multiplies the results until abundance becomes the very air you breathe. Think of it this way. The first time you speak the instant money code, you may feel timid, doubtful, uncertain. Yet when the law answers even in a small way, you gain confidence. You say, the word works, the law is true. That confidence becomes faith, and with greater faith, you speak bolder decrees. Those bolder decrees bring greater demonstrations, and greater demonstrations build unshakable conviction. Soon you are no longer testing the law, you are living in it, commanding with the authority of one who knows the universe must obey. Each victory becomes the foundation for the next. Each answered prayer becomes proof for the next decree. And your fortune multiplies not by toil, not by chance, but by rhythm. I recall the story of Clara, who desired a fan displayed in a shop window. She had no money for such a luxury, but she did not beg, she did not plead, she vibrated to it. She affirmed her right to beauty and abundance, and soon the fan was given to her. It was a small thing, yet it was proof. And once she had proof, she grew bold. She began to decree for greater things, and greater things followed. The fan was only the beginning of a chain of demonstrations that lifted her from lack to abundance. One decree multiplied into many, each success feeding the next, until she no longer wondered if the law worked. She knew, and that knowing made her word irresistible. This is how wealth multiplies. Not by hoarding, not by grasping, not by desperate striving, but by speaking and proving, speaking and receiving, speaking and multiplying. The command builds like compound interest. Each decree pays dividends that make the next decree stronger. And soon, your million is not a mountain you climb once, but a valley you walk daily, with every step carrying you deeper into abundance. So let me ask you, are you content to speak once and stop? Are you content with one gift, one check, one answered prayer? Or will you press on? Will you multiply? Will you build momentum until you live in a stream that never runs dry? Do not limit the law by treating it as a single use. It is infinite, and the more you use it, the stronger it becomes in your life. Speak daily, decree boldly, and watch as your results increase not by addition but by multiplication. Therefore, take this as your practice. After each demonstration, give thanks, then decree for more. After each blessing, plant another seed. After each harvest, sow again. Say, this success multiplies. This good grows greater. This river flows stronger. My wealth increases daily, under grace, in perfect ways. Speak it until multiplication becomes your rhythm, until every blessing is compounded, until every word brings not one gift but many, until your life overflows with abundance upon abundance. For the law is infinite, and your word is the key. Use it, and your million will not only appear, it will multiply into millions more. Now I must uncover the only true enemy of your fortune, the one adversary that cancels decrees, blocks supply, and keeps even the boldest commands from taking root. That enemy is not men, not markets, not governments, not chance, it is fear. Fear is the great counterfeit. Fear is faith turned upside down. Fear is belief in evil instead of good, in lack instead of supply, in sickness instead of health, in loss instead of gain. When you let fear grip your mind, you are as surely commanding disaster as when you speak faith, you are commanding abundance. The law is impersonal, it will bring forth what you decree. And if you decree by trembling, worrying, and expecting evil, then evil is what will crystallize before your eyes. Think of how fear operates. A man may speak boldly in the morning, declaring, God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. But before the day is half gone, he begins to look at his empty wallet, his unpaid bills, his rising debts, and he mutters, what if nothing happens? What if I fail? What if it's too late? And those fearful words are commands as well. The subconscious does not say, this is only worry, not a decree. No, it records and obeys. And so the man has planted two crops, one of faith and one of fear, and he reaps confusion. His life lurches forward and backward, sudden gains followed by sudden losses, bursts of joy drowned by floods of despair. He is double-minded, and the double-minded man receives nothing stable, for he wavers like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind of appearances. Do you remember when Jesus stilled the storm? The disciples were terrified as the waves crashed against the boat. They cried out, convinced they would perish. And Jesus, waking, rebuked them with these words. Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he spoke to the wind and the waves, Peace, be still, and the storm obeyed. What was the lesson? The storm outside was only the reflection of the storm within. Their fear had created the turmoil. And when faith spoke the command, the storm ceased. For the true enemy was never the sea, it was the fear in their hearts. The same law holds true for you. The storms you see in money, in health, in relationships, are but mirrors of the fear you hold. When you erase the fear, the storm must cease. So I ask you plainly, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid that your million will never come? Are you afraid that if it does come, you will lose it? Are you afraid of ridicule, of failure, of disappointment? Whatever fear you hold, that is inverted faith, and it is creating its own harvest. The longer you nurse it, the stronger it grows. And the stronger it grows, the more it strangles the seed of faith you have planted. You cannot serve two masters, you cannot hold both fear and faith. One must be cast out and the other enthroned. Do not coddle fear. Do not excuse it as natural. Do not say, everyone worries, everyone frets. No, fear is not harmless, it is deadly, because it creates. It magnifies the very thing you dread. Job declared, "The thing I greatly feared has come upon me." That was not coincidence, it was law. And you must decide whether you will continue to water the weeds of fear or uproot them with the word of faith. So let this be your declaration. Fear, you are inverted faith. You have no power, you are nothing, you cannot operate. I walk in faith, I walk in love, I walk in truth, and I cannot fail. Speak it each time fear rises. Speak it until fear shrinks. Speak it until faith fills the whole garden of your heart. For when fear is gone, the word you speak will move swiftly, unhindered, irresistible, and your million will come to you as naturally as the dawn follows the night. Now that I have shown you the true nature of fear, you must be armed with the weapons that conquer it, for it is not enough to simply recognize fear as inverted faith. You must dissolve it the very moment it appears. Fear is sly. Fear is persistent. Fear creeps into the quiet hours of the night. It whispers in the pauses of your day. It stares at you through the figures in your checkbook. It glares at you through the shadows of tomorrow. And if you are not equipped, you will let it take root. And once rooted, it grows quickly into weeds that choke your harvest. But Spirit has provided tools, mighty and simple, that cut fear down like grass before the scythe. The first tool is denial, the spoken rejection of fear's reality. Do not reason with fear. Do not explain yourself to fear. Do not bargain with fear. Deny it. Say aloud with authority, "Fear, you are nothing. You cannot operate. You are false, and you have no power over me." Speak it boldly, even if your knees are trembling, even if your hands are cold. For the moment you declare fear to be nothing, you are lifting yourself out of its vibration and planting yourself firmly in truth. The subconscious hears and obeys. I once told a student who was plagued with nervous worry, each time fear speaks, answer it aloud, cancel it, replace it. He obeyed, and within days, the torment that had bound him for years melted away because he refused to let fear finish a single sentence without denial. The second tool is affirmation. After you deny the fear, you must immediately replace it with the truth. If fear says, "You will fail," affirm, "I walk in faith. I cannot fail." If fear says, "You will lose everything," affirm, "God is my unfailing supply. I am safe, secure, and abundant." If fear says, "You will be rejected," affirm, "Divine love prepares the way. I am irresistible to my own." The affirmation must not be whispered like a plea, it must be spoken like a decree. Rhythm, boldness, and certainty give it power. Speak it until you feel the vibration shift, until the heaviness lifts, until peace returns. The third tool is love. For perfect love casts out fear. Fear cannot remain where love abides. If you fear a person, bless them. If you fear a situation, surround it with love in your thought. If you fear loss, declare divine love as the substance of your supply. One man I knew had been a worrier all his life, every day burdened with imagined disasters. Nothing I told him seemed to free him. Then one day he walked past a signboard that read, "Why worry? It will probably never happen." He laughed aloud, and in that laugh, his fear dissolved, replaced by the lightness of love. From that day forward, he lived with a peace he had never known. Fear had fled in the face of joy. The fourth tool is thanksgiving. Gratitude is the language of faith, and it is impossible to tremble with fear while giving thanks. The very moment fear whispers, answer it with thanksgiving. Say, "I give thanks that my supply is already at hand. I give thanks that divine order is now established. I give thanks that every channel is open, and my good is rushing to me now." Gratitude shifts you instantly into the vibration of abundance. It turns your eyes from the shadow to the light, and in the light fear cannot stand. So these are your tools: denial, affirmation, love, thanksgiving. Use them at once, without hesitation, whenever fear approaches. Do not let fear sit at your table. Do not let it whisper in your ear. Do not let it sleep in your bed. Answer it at once. Deny it, replace it, dissolve it, give thanks. If you practice this faithfully, fear will lose its power, and faith will reign undisturbed in your heart. And when faith reigns, your word carries a force that nothing can resist, and your million will appear without obstruction, for the only enemy has been silenced. Here is a truth that few ever master, and yet without it, even the strongest affirmations and the boldest commands can falter. You must learn to live above appearances. The world will present to you pictures that look final: bank accounts drained, debts piled high, letters of demand, doctor's reports, empty rooms, doors closed, opportunities lost. These are the giants in the land, and like the Israelites of old, most people look upon these giants and say, "We are as grasshoppers in their sight." And by their own admission, they are defeated before a single battle is fought. But appearances are shadows, not substance. They are lies, not truth. They are the temporary shapes cast by fear and past words. If you bow to them, they will bind you. If you rise above them, they must dissolve. I tell you plainly, your million will never appear if you keep staring at lack. The more you gaze at an empty purse, the more empty it becomes. The more you talk of unpaid bills, the more they multiply. The more you describe your sickness, the more it strengthens its hold. Appearances grow by attention, but when you withdraw your attention, when you refuse to bow to the picture before your eyes and instead hold fast to the vision in your heart, the appearance must fade and the truth must rise. That is why Scripture commands, "Judge not according to appearances, but judge righteous judgment." Righteous judgment means seeing beyond the shadow, beyond the illusion, beyond the surface, and standing upon the word that never fails. Let me give you an example. A woman once came to me overwhelmed by bills. Every day brought another envelope marked past due, another notice demanding payment. She was drowning in appearances, and her words reflected it. "Florence, I can't keep up. I'll never be free. I'm ruined." I told her, "Stop rehearsing ruin. Stop bowing to paper giants. Begin to decree. I give thanks that every bill is paid in full, under grace, in perfect ways. Divine abundance now manifests for me. I refuse to see lack. I see only plenty." She obeyed. She turned her eyes from the bills and fixed them on her word. Within weeks, unexpected income arrived, payments cleared, and the very pile of demands that had mocked her became a testimony of supply. The giants had fallen, not by her labor, but by her refusal to bow to their appearance. So I ask you, what giants are you bowing to today? Is it the giant of debt, the giant of sickness, the giant of loneliness, the giant of fear? They look tall, they look mighty, they roar loudly, but they have no power except the power you give them. Withdraw your fear, withdraw your words, withdraw your gaze, and they collapse into dust. Stand above them and decree, "I refuse to judge by appearances. I hold to the truth that abundance is here, health is here, love is here, my million is here. The giants are nothing, for God is everything." Living above appearances does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing the higher reality. It means knowing that what Spirit has prepared is greater than what the eyes can see. It means trusting that the invisible law is more powerful than visible shadows. It means refusing to let temporary pictures dictate eternal truth. And when you live this way, when you walk by faith and not by sight, your outer world must eventually match your inner decree, for the outer is only a reflection of the inner, and when the inner holds fast to truth, the outer must bow. So lift your eyes now. Refuse to bow to the giants. Refuse to let appearances shake you. Stand on your word, live above the shadow, and you will find that the pictures that once terrified you vanish like mist in the Sunday, and in their place stands your demonstration solid, undeniable, perfect. That is the power of living above appearances. You have now seen that fear is inverted faith, that it must be denied, replaced, dissolved, and overcome. You have learned the tools denial, affirmation, love, and thanksgiving, and you have seen how to rise above the shadows of appearance. But if you are to hold your million, if you are to live in steady abundance and not in fits and starts, then you must go further. You must build fearlessness into habit, until courage becomes your natural state, until faith is not something you put on only in moments of crisis, but the very air you breathe every day. For the truth is this: one decree can bring sudden wealth, but only fearless habit can keep the river flowing without interruption. Most people live like reeds in the wind, swaying this way and that with every breeze of circumstance. When money flows, they rejoice. When a bill arrives, they tremble. When health is strong, they sing. When pain strikes, they despair. When love appears, they glow. When loneliness returns, they collapse. Their lives rise and fall with appearances, because fear is still their master. But you must be like the oak tree, rooted and immovable, unmoved by the storm, unshaken by the wind, standing firm because your roots go deep into truth. That firmness comes only by habit, by daily practice, by the constant training of your tongue, your thought, and your vision, until fear has no place to dwell. Begin with daily denials. Each morning, speak aloud, "Fear, you are nothing, you cannot operate, you have no power. God is my only power, and that power is love." Say it before fear even shows itself. Say it as a shield. Say it as a habit. Then follow with daily affirmations. I walk in faith, I live in courage, I cannot fail. Say it in rhythm until your very being vibrates with courage. Add to this the practice of thanksgiving. Give thanks before the day begins. Give thanks in the middle of tasks. Give thanks as you close your eyes at night. Gratitude trains the heart to expect only good. And when expectation is set to good, fear has no channel. When the storm rises, and rise it will, practice calm. Do not rush, do not panic, do not cry out as one abandoned. Stand and declare, "Peace, be still." Those were the words spoken on the sea when the storm threatened to drown the disciples. They panicked, but Christ stood fearless and spoke peace, and the storm obeyed. Every storm in your life waits for that same decree. But you must practice it until it becomes second nature, until your first response to trouble is not fear but faith, not panic but poise, not despair but declaration. That is the habit of fearlessness. Do not despise small opportunities to practice. When a minor bill arrives, speak courage. When a little pain flickers, declare health. When a small delay occurs, affirm divine timing. Each small victory builds strength for the greater tests. Fearlessness is a muscle, it grows by use. The more you train it, the more it becomes who you are, until nothing shakes you. And let me tell you this, once you build fearlessness into habit, your million will not come and go like the tide. It will remain. It will multiply, it will grow. For fearlessness is the guardian at the gate. Fearlessness is the wall of strength around your fortune. Fearlessness is the atmosphere that keeps your words steady and your harvest abundant. So let this be your vow. From this day, I build fearlessness into habit. I deny fear daily. I affirm faith hourly. I walk in thanksgiving always. I live above appearances. I speak peace to every storm. Courage is my rhythm, and faith is my breath. Say it, live it, practice it, until fear no longer dares to enter your world. Then your million will not only appear, it will remain, secure and multiplying, for the law will have no obstruction, and your word will carry unstoppable power. Now that you have learned to cast out fear and to live above appearances, you are ready to face the higher law that keeps wealth alive, fresh, and multiplying. For it is one thing to call forth money, and another to hold it, and still another to live in a river of abundance that never runs dry. And here is the paradox that frightens the reasoning mind but delights the heart of faith. To keep your wealth, you must let it flow. The world teaches you to hoard, to clutch, to lock it away in vaults and corners, to save against the day of loss. But Spirit says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Spirit is circulation, not stagnation. Prosperity is a river, not a pond. Life itself is flow in and out, give and receive, inhale and exhale. And when you try to dam the river, when you clutch in fear, when you hoard against loss, you prepare for loss, and loss comes. But when you circulate, when you release, when you give as led by love and intuition, you prove your faith, and your wealth multiplies. I once knew a woman who had very little, yet she was moved by an inner voice to give a small gift. Her mind resisted, saying, "I cannot spare it. I must keep what I have, for I may need it tomorrow." But she obeyed the voice of Spirit, and she gave, not grudgingly, but joyfully, declaring, "As I give, so it returns to me, multiplied, under grace, in perfect ways." Not long after, a sum of money far greater than her gift returned to her from a channel she could never have imagined. That is the law of flow. The gift she released was the seed, and the harvest returned in abundance. If she had hoarded, she would have remained stuck, staring at her little pile, trembling lest it vanish. But because she flowed, the river increased. This is why I say to you, do not clutch at your million when it comes. Do not build your fortune on fear. Do not treat wealth as a prisoner to be locked away. Treat it as a river to be released. Flow, and it will flow back to you. Hoard, and it will wither in your hands. You prove your faith not by how much you hold, but by how freely you give. Every act of circulation is a declaration. God, not this coin, is my supply. Spirit, not this sum, is my source. I give freely, I receive freely, and the river never runs dry. Look at nature. Can you imagine the ocean refusing to release its waves? Can you imagine the tree clutching its fruit? Can you imagine your lungs refusing to exhale lest they lose the air? Life would end. But because the ocean flows, because the tree releases, because the lungs give out what they take in, life abounds. And so it is with wealth. The miser who hoards prepares for poverty, because he declares by his actions, I do not trust infinite supply. I must protect myself. And his fear draws the very loss he dreads. But the giver who circulates prepares for increase, because she declares, I trust God. My supply is infinite. I am safe in the flow. And her faith draws multiplication. So I ask you now, are you flowing or are you hoarding? Are you giving as Spirit directs or are you clutching in fear? Do not mistake recklessness for circulation. You are not called to waste, but to flow with wisdom. The Spirit within will nudge you when to give, where to give, how much to give. Follow that lead. Sometimes the gift is money, sometimes it is kindness, sometimes it is time, sometimes it is forgiveness. Whatever it is, if it is given in faith and love, it returns multiplied. Therefore, let this be your decree. I am in the rhythm of abundance. I give freely, I receive freely. Money flows to me and through me in endless streams. I do not hoard in fear. I circulate in faith. My million is alive, moving, and multiplying under grace, in perfect ways. Say it, live it, act upon it, and you will find that your million does not dwindle but grows, for the river of Spirit will keep pouring as long as you keep it flowing. Now, I must tell you something that will save you from despair when your decree seems unanswered, when your command appears delayed, when your million has not yet arrived at the exact hour you expected. Many stumble at this point. They speak the word boldly, they declare the law with faith, and when the result does not materialize immediately in the form they imagined, they grow discouraged. They say, perhaps the law does not work for me. Perhaps I am not chosen. Perhaps my words have no power. And in their discouragement, they cancel the decree, they dig up the seed, they let fear creep in, and so the harvest is lost. But hear me now, there is no such thing as denial in spirit. There is only divine timing, divine rearrangement, divine selection. What you call delay is often spirit, withholding the lesser until the greater can arrive, closing the wrong door so the right one may open, holding back what you demand, so that what belongs to you by divine right can find you. Delay is not punishment. It is protection. It is love at work behind the scenes, reshaping, redirecting, rearranging for your highest good. I recall the case of a woman who prayed desperately for a certain man, insisting he was the one meant for her. She declared, she decreed, she clung to the image, but nothing happened. His heart remained closed. At last she released her grip and changed her decree. She said, if this man is not mine by divine right, I release him. I give thanks for the right man who now comes to me, under grace, in perfect ways. And soon she met the one who was truly hers by divine selection. A man whose love was steady, whose life harmonized with hers, whose presence brought her more joy than she had ever imagined. What she thought was delay had been protection, spirit withholding what was not hers in order to deliver what was. This is the lesson of divine timing. Spirit sees the whole, while you see only a part. Spirit knows the true pattern, while you cling to fragments. Spirit holds the blueprint, while you demand a sketch. And because Spirit is love, it will not allow you to settle for the wrong channel, the wrong timing, the wrong portion. It will hold you still until the perfect door opens. If you judge by appearances, you will cry, nothing is happening. But if you judge righteous judgment, you will say, everything is happening now, in the invisible. The rearrangement is taking place. The better way is being prepared. Do not forget the story of the Israelites leaving Egypt. Pharaoh resisted. Plagues came. Doors closed again and again. It seemed like endless delay. But all the while, Spirit was preparing a perfect release, a passage through the sea, a deliverance that left no bondage behind. Had they rushed, had they fled in panic, they would have been destroyed. But by divine timing, the sea parted at the exact hour, the path appeared, and their freedom was secure. So it is in your life. The delays are not denials, they are preparations for a perfect release. So let me ask you, what are you calling delay today? Is it the check that has not arrived? The opportunity that has not opened? The partner who has not appeared? Instead of cursing the delay, bless it. Say, this is not delay, this is divine rearrangement. Spirit is preparing something better, greater, richer, more perfect than I imagined. I stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. And as you bless the timing, peace will fill your heart. And when the door finally opens, you will see that the waiting was mercy. Therefore, let this be your decree. There are no delays in spirit. What belongs to me by divine right is now released. What is not mine is taken away. Every channel is open, every door is cleared, and divine timing brings me my million in perfect ways. Speak it until you believe it, and believe it until you see it, and you will find that every apparent delay was only Spirit arranging the better plan. Now I must show you how to move from sudden demonstration into steady flow, how to turn a single command into a way of life, how to keep the river of abundance running through every day until prosperity becomes as natural to you as breath. For too many, treat the law of command like a tool to be used only in emergencies. They speak boldly when rent is due, when the bill collector knocks, when fear grips their chest, but when the crisis passes, they fall back into silence, into idle chatter, into the old rhythm of doubt. And so their lives become cycles of feast and famine, bursts of supply followed by drought. But this is not the law's fault, it is the lack of rhythm. For wealth is not a storm that comes once and blows away. Wealth is a river. It must be kept in motion by daily word, daily thought, daily decree. Think of your body. Do you breathe only when you remember? Do you eat only when disaster strikes? No, you breathe continually. You nourish yourself daily. So it must be with the word. The spoken command is not a once-for-all event. It is a continual practice, a rhythm that shapes the subconscious until wealth is not something you beg for, but something you expect, something you live in, something you carry like the air around you. Let me give you the pattern. In the morning, when you rise, before the day has a chance to crowd you with its noise, speak the decree. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. Say it aloud, firmly, as the first seed of the day. Plant it before any weed can take root. Then move through the hours watchfully. Guard your speech, cancel idle words at once. Reset your thought whenever fear whispers. Each time a doubt creeps in, answer with a decree. Each time lack shows its shadow, flood it with affirmation. Let your tongue be vigilant, your mind be steady, your heart be expectant. This is the daily watch. And at night, before you sleep, reset once more. Speak thanksgiving. I give thanks for the wealth that has come to me this day. I give thanks for the greater supply that rushes to me tomorrow. I sleep in peace, I wake in abundance, for God is my unfailing supply. These are the last words the subconscious will hear as you drift into slumber, and it will play them like music all through the night, writing them deeper and deeper until they become the background rhythm of your being. Then, even in dreams, you will be planting abundance. I taught a woman this practice once, who had been plagued by lack for years. She lived with fear, watching every coin, dreading every expense. I told her to take her purse, nearly empty, and declare it the magic purse of spirit. To say, this purse can never be emptied. Each time money goes out, more comes in. I see it crammed, jammed, bulging with bills and gold and silver. She obeyed. Morning and night she blessed that purse, speaking her decree faithfully. Soon, from channels she had never expected, money poured in, until her purse was indeed bulging. Her rhythm had changed, and so her life had changed. Do you see the secret? It is not one dramatic command that makes you rich. It is the steady rhythm of the word, spoken daily, lived daily, believed daily, until the subconscious is saturated, until the harvest becomes inevitable, until the river cannot be stopped. Wealth becomes your atmosphere, your natural condition, your daily bread. And when that happens, your million is not a miracle, it is a certainty. For the law cannot fail when the rhythm is steady. So let this be your vow. I live in the daily rhythm of wealth. I decree in the morning. I guard through the day. I give thanks at night. My words are seeds. My thoughts are rivers. My life is abundance. I walk in the stream of prosperity, and it never runs dry. Say it until it is your nature. Live it until it is your habit. And watch as your million not only arrives but remains, multiplying into more, until prosperity is not an event but your way of being. Now we come to the close of this great lesson, and I must gather every truth into your heart and seal it with the spoken word, so that it does not remain as theory in your mind but becomes power in your life. You have seen from the beginning that your million does not rest in the hands of men, nor in the twists of chance, nor in the sweat of endless toil. Your million rests in your tongue. Your words are the seeds of your fortune. Idle words plant poverty, but deliberate decrees plant abundance. Asking delays, but commanding delivers. Fear obstructs, but faith accelerates. Preparation proves belief, gratitude speeds the harvest, circulation multiplies the supply, and divine timing ensures that what is yours can never be withheld. You have learned the instant money code, the decree that has opened the vault of heaven for many before you. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. This is not poetry. This is not wishful thinking. This is law, and the law cannot fail. So I charge you, do not let this remain a pleasant idea. Do not close this message and return to idle chatter. Take the word into your mouth and speak it today. Speak it tomorrow. Speak it until it is the rhythm of your life. Say it when you wake. Say it when you fear. Say it when you rejoice. Say it when you rest. Let it be the drumbeat of your days and the lullaby of your nights. For each time you speak it, you plant, you water, you build momentum, and the harvest draws nearer. And the day will come sooner than you think when your million stands before you, undeniable, irresistible, unshakable, for the law has obeyed your decree. Now let us affirm together and seal this truth. I am one with the giver and the gift. God is my unfailing supply. Large sums of money come to me quickly, under grace, in perfect ways. My $1 million is here now. It multiplies, it blesses, it remains. I walk in the rhythm of abundance, and I am grateful. Say it again. Say it until your whole being vibrates with it. Say it until doubt is silenced and only faith speaks. For when you speak, the universe listens, and when you command, the law obeys. And here is my challenge. Within the next 24 hours, use the command. Do not postpone. Do not say, one day I will try it. One day is the language of delay. Speak today. Act today. Prepare today. Give thanks today. And then watch. Watch for the channel. Watch for the gift. Watch for the unexpected door that swings open. Your demonstration is already rushing to meet you. The question is not whether it will come. The question is, will you speak it? And before I leave you, let me open the door to the next great lesson. For perhaps even now you wonder, but what happens after the first million? How do I hold it? How do I multiply it? How do I live in unlimited supply without fear of loss? There is a hidden law that governs increase, a secret door that, once opened, keeps fortune flowing endlessly. Without it, riches can vanish as quickly as they arrive. With it, your wealth becomes permanent, growing, expanding, blessing you and all it touches. In my next message, I will reveal this law, the secret door to success, and show you how to step through it into a life where prosperity never ceases. So click now and join me there. For you have spoken the command for your first million, but the journey of abundance has only just begun.